and welcome. This is TV360 Special, and I am Annetta Felix. On this episode, we'll be speaking to a woman who has successfully answered a question asked many years ago by Martin Luther King Jr. And it's, what are you doing for others? And her answer was service. Dr. Kehinde started her humanitarian work as a photojournalist and then grew to taking on the challenge of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Kehinde is an accomplished academia and a seasoned scholar. She's passionate about health communication, humanitarianism, and photography. She's currently a senior lecturer at the Department of Mass Communication at the University of Ilorin. She's the founder and executive director at the Grassroots Aid Initiative, TGAI, an NGO which has used pictures to drive humanitarian projects to villages in at least 4 states in Nigeria. Kehinde obtained a bachelor's degree in mass communications from the University of Lagos, a master's degree in communication studies from University of Ghana, and a PhD in communication from University Utara, Malaysia. Kehinde Kadiri, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm very sure our viewers are very curious to hear all about you. So let me know how you first got into the field of photography and photojournalism.
Okay, I started taking pictures because I teach photojournalism in mass communication department, University of Ilorin. I was giving my students assignments to take pictures. So I feel challenged that if I can tell my students to take pictures, it's also very important for me to also be taking pictures. So as a result of that, I started going to villages in rural areas in Kwara State. I started with Agoja in Asa local government in Kwara State. So I was taking compelling pictures of the challenges, about the activities of people in the rural areas, and I tell stories about the pictures. I was posting those pictures on my social media handles, and I realized that people started engaging me. People were asking me different questions about what the pictures were talking about, and that was how it all started.
Wow, the pictures were so compelling that people started to ask for context.
Yes.
And that was when you decided to, was that when you decided to go a step further into humanitarianism?
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to be documenting the lives of people in rural areas. I just saw it as an hobby, as a passion, as something that gives me fulfillment. I didn't really have the motive of using it for humanitarian reasons. But there was a particular day I saw, or we saw, because I normally go to the village with my students. And then we now met one little girl on a lonely path. She was sent out of school, she was wearing uniform, and she carried her bag on her head. So we now asked her, what are you doing here? Are you not supposed to be in class? She now said she has been sent out of school because she could not pay her school fees. Then we now asked, how much is your school fee? She said, 2,500 naira. That was April 2017. So when we now took the picture, we posted it. I posted it on my social media and on my Instagram. I wrote my little story about it. Then somebody sent me a DM and said she is going to pay for her school fees, and the person sent in 5,000 naira.
Wow.
So that was how everything just changed from documenting pictures to humanitarian photography. And as a result of the success of that, just that 5,000 changed everything. I now started taking pictures about the challenges of people in Agoja village. They were having serious water problem. So when I was taking the picture of the problems that they encountered, all the issues surrounding the water problem, I was writing the story, uploading it on my social media and Instagram specifically. I started on Instagram. Then, like 2 weeks after the first the payment of the girl's school fees,
the intervention, yes.
Yeah, another person said she wants to sponsor a water project in that
Wow.
village. So it was at that point that I realized that it is no more an hobby, that it's more or less like it's a calling, that God is just telling me that you have a reason for having this talent for photography. And after that one, I became more passionate about using the pictures to tell stories, but not just telling it as an hobby now, but also to have a resounding impact in the lives of people.
Fantastic. You took pictures that basically evoked emotions in people, and you were willing to go a step further into supporting those people, that were the subject of your images. But when you realized that this was something that were calling people to intervene, did you consider any challenges that might arise with, competing for your time with this humanitarianism you were going into, and then your job as a lecturer in Unilorin?
Yeah, lecturing job is very flexible. I think that's one advantage I have over some other people. I can schedule my time in a way that I will still have a little time to go to the village. I wasn't going to villages that are very far away, maybe like 1.5 hours away from Ilorin. So I was able to schedule my time, and anytime I was going, I made sure that I go with some of my students that are also passionate about photography and also about having impact in people's life. So sometimes I go there during the weekend, sometimes I go during the week. It depends on the number, it depends on the people that are willing to follow me, because it's not really commonsensical for me to go to a strange place all by myself.
True.
So anytime I am going, I was also security conscious. I mostly go with at least 3 boys. That is 3 of my student boys. They will always follow me, because there was a time that we were attacked by some of the villagers. They feel threatened because we were taking pictures. Even despite the fact that we explained the rationale behind taking of the pictures to them, they were not
Having it.
Yes, so we had to leave that place.
All right, so we'll go into details much later about challenges you faced on the job. But when you eventually saw that this was something you could explore, tell me about you making this into an NGO, the whole process of business registration and all that hassle.
Okay, so after the water project, we were also able to use pictures to tell stories about an old woman that was living in a dilapidated muddy house, and we were able to build a new house and furnish for the woman. So it was at that point that people started telling me that I cannot be using my personal account to be soliciting for funds anymore. So it was there and then that I started making the process for the Corporate Affairs Commission to register, and it did not really take so long. I think less than 2 months, although I was taking my time then, less than 2 or 3 months, we were able to register. And in December 2017, we were fully incorporated under the Corporate Affairs Commission.
And well, that was a big achievement indeed. And you did touch on funds. Let's go into details about that. You were making projects, reaching out to people, taking care of their feeding, their shelter, education for people. How did you generate funds? I did read up about your business, about your NGO, and that you crowdfunded. But apart from crowdfunding, how else did you generate funds to help people across Nigeria?
Basically, the way I generated funds, or we, because I'm not the only one, I have my volunteers, my food soldiers that help me too. The way we generate funds, we use social media crowdfunding.
Okay.
We do we solicit for financial assistance from people from all over the world, because now social media is not only limited to Nigeria.
It's global.
Yes, so we make use of different social media strategies on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, sponsored ad, talk to people personally. We ask people to help us to share, retweet, so that the campaign can go viral. So what we do is that once we realize, we pick a project at a time. If you want to do maybe for instance, maybe education project, we focus on that. We will create content around education.
Okay.
Yeah, we create content around it. We share on our WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter. We ask our friends and families to also reshare, to retweet. So, and sometimes we also make phone calls. And so far so good. We've been able to use social media crowdfunding. Basically, is what we have been able to use in the past over 2 years, and we've been able to fund like 15 projects or thereabouts since 2017.
Wow. From what you've told me, it's obvious that you have a lot of hands working with you. Tell me, how did you get these volunteers together to see what you saw and to work with you to create a change?
Yeah, when it started, that was March 2017, like I said. I started with maybe like 5 of my students that were very close to me then. Those ones, I had to convince them that I wanted to start something, but I don't even know what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be taking pictures. So I started with like 4 of them. So when other students, they started seeing maybe the achievement, what we'll be able to use pictures for, some of them invited themselves. They came to meet me, talk to some of those my students that they also wanted to join. And also in some instances, I also had to talk to some students that I saw the talent, maybe a particular potential in them, that they can add value to what we are doing. For instance, my student, there is a particular student that is good in graphics.
Okay.
So I had to speak with her. There are some that are good in photography. I had to speak with them to also join. Well, it now got to a point that I had almost all hands on deck, and people were different people from different departments, not even mass communication department that I teach, from different departments, even from outside University of Ilorin. They wanted to join. People send message to me on Facebook, on Instagram, that they want to join. But we only accept based on your talent, your skill. If you don't have any skill set, we will not accept you. And we also let them know that the volunteering that you are doing, we are not going to pay for maybe
For your services.
yeah, for the services, because more or less it's like it's just like a platform for you to develop yourself and also to network, increase your knowledge about what you have learned in class, or maybe some things that you have heard. And to the best of our own ability, we've been able to, we are doing good, and we have more requests almost every other day that they want to join. But now we are very careful about the volunteers that we accept.
So how many are you in at the moment?
Yeah, now we have over, the Grassroots Aid Initiative has over 50 volunteers, 50 registered volunteers, and we have other food soldiers that are just there, are not, we cannot say they are volunteers, but they are still helping us in spreading the goodwill and also the messages of.
All right, fantastic. You're watching TV360 Special on TV360 Nigeria, and in the studio, I've been speaking with Kehinde Kadiri, the founder of the Grassroots Aid Initiative. And after the break, we'll be going into details of her NGO's efforts of achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Do stay with us. You're welcome back. Kehinde Kadiri has been sharing with me how she used her passion for photography to help many Nigerians out of poverty and to give them a better life. So I would like to ask you, at what point did you decide to go into achieving the Sustainable Development Goals?
Okay, like I said, I was just doing it just because I just feel I was just doing it out of my own volition. I was not even thinking about SDG goal. It was later on, maybe after we have done like 3-4 projects, that I realized that, okay, there is something called SDG goals.
Wow.
So I started fashioning all my projects. Okay, this particular project, SDG 6, education, water. This particular project, SDG 4, is water, is education. So I think it was in around December 2017 that I started tilting my project towards SDG goals. Yeah.
Okay, so focusing on the second SDG, which is a goal to eliminate hunger, we saw your NGO fed over 100 persons and empowered about 500 more, gave them relief materials. How was that experience like for you and your team?
Okay, that particular project you are talking about, we teamed it 100 widows and kids. We went to the village in Ara village in Kwara State. We realized that there was so much poverty in that particular place, and so we decided to feed that we will be feeding maybe 50 widows and 50 kids. But at the end of the day, we were able to feed more than the 100 that we stipulated.
Wow.
The way we did it was that I had to write stories around the challenges that widows they go through after the death of their husband. So we interviewed maybe over 10 widows in that community, although there were more than that. We interviewed, we took pictures, posted on my social media handles and also for the NGO too, because my own strength is storytelling and photography. So I'm the one that normally write all those compelling, emotional laden stories, and we wrote over 10. I think I wrote over 10 for the widows and also for the kids too. So we use those pictures and the storytelling to draw people into what we are doing, and also to let them to get involved in the developmental projects that we were doing at that particular time. And people donated so much money to us, gave us relief materials, sent clothes, food from different parts of Nigeria.
But you didn't stop there. I mean, in 2017, you also tackled the SDG for good health and well-being.
Yes.
What were the testimonials from that particular project?
Okay, for the good health, that was the very first project when we did the malaria campaign in Agoja. That one, we went to the community in Agoja. We gave them sensitization about malaria. We sensitized them. We told them about the consequences of not cleaning their environment. We gave them mosquito nets and drugs. We tested them for malaria. Those that tested positive, we gave them drugs. And I think that was what really made that particular community to be convinced that we were not part of the statistic that they thought. Because when we went there initially, they believed that, oh, they have come again. They have come to and tell us lies. They have come to come and to take our money.
You mean they had cases of such in the past?
Yes, because the Bale of the community told us about a particular NGO that came to the community, collected money from them that they are going to give them maybe spectacles for reading, and they did not see them anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but the man just gave us benefit of that. Let's all see what they want to do. And after we did that malaria campaign, they were convinced. And, you know, after we did the malaria campaign, we did, in that same community, we did another water project. That was the first water project that we did. It is still in the same Agoja community. It is still in their Agoja community that we also built a house for Mama Ikim.
The 100-year-old
Yeah,
woman.
the 100, yeah.
Wow.
So when after building the house for the old woman, we realized that it's time for us to leave that particular village. Then we went to another community, still in Kwara State.
Fantastic. That community gave you the benefit of the doubt, and you were able to prove that you were there because you cared.
Yes.
How about the naysayers, people who never believed in you, your team? Did you encounter them, and how was your reaction to that?
Yeah, we went to one village I can't remember the name of that particular village. You know, we went there, we spoke to them, and they stoned us.
Oh my.
After we explained, we pleaded, you know, they were like, take away your goodness. We don't want your goodness. Get out of our place. You know, they stoned us, and we had no choice but to leave. And we moved to the next village that we realized that they needed educational support. So I think that, and there is another village too that they did not believe in us. Well, we were adamant. We were like, we had to talk to them to come down to their level, because we realized that these people, they had big water problem, their kids are not going to school because they had to go and fetch water. The place that they were fetching water from was very bad. They had to trek over 30 minutes to fetch water. But they did not believe us because they have been, maybe in the past, some other people, they came to that village and they've been tricked. So I think the reason why some of these villagers behave the way they did was because of
negative experiences.
Yeah, the negative experiences of the past. So that was the reason.
So what kept you though? I mean, people stoned you. I can't imagine how terrible that experience must have been for you. But what was your drive through all of that negativity?
Yeah, I think my drive then was that we just want to make a difference, because if you fail once, you cannot, because of failure, sit back. You still need to try again. I think that is just the philosophy about life. You cannot accept defeat, because if you accept defeat, then there will be no progress in life. So that was the reason why we had to continue, go to another. If this community does not accept us, then we move to another one.
Fantastic. I mean, you're doing such impressive work. Have you received funding from maybe the government?
Not yet. We have not received.
Wow.
Although we have applied to some organizations, but we are still expecting feedback now.
I'm going to encourage you to keep that up anyway. So finally, before I let you go, let's know, what's your next big thing? What's the next project you would like to embark on this year?
Yeah, actually, if you ask me what project do I have many lofty ideas in my head, but the major problem is about the funding, because the idea that I have in my head right now is there is a way we can combine SDG 4 and SDG 6 together. That SDG 4 is about education, quality education, and SDG 6 is good water and sanitation. So there is a way we can use pictures to tell stories about the challenges that people are facing in rural communities, as water problems that they were facing in rural communities. There can be maybe like a photo challenge, just throw open a contest that people should use pictures to talk about the water challenge that they are facing in their community. You know, that one is more or less like we are educating people about the challenges of water, and we are also encouraging young people to get educated about water problems. So it's like a fusion. We can do maybe something like a contest around water, and if possible, and we will focus it on people that live in rural areas. So if a particular community, okay, there will now be a contest. Everybody will bring their pictures. They will tell us what that particular picture, what does this picture mean to you? Somebody can say, okay, this picture is telling us about the challenges that people my sister faced when she's going to fetch water. Maybe trek 30 minutes. Another can take picture of maybe the sister that was sick because she used untreated or bad water or unsafe water. You know, there are so many issues about water. Water can cause economic crisis. Water can cause education problem.
Basically, your next project will be about enlightening people
about water challenges, and also at the same time educating people about. So it's like a fusion of SDG 4 and SDG 6.
Fantastic. Wow, impressive, I must say. I would love to go on talking about this, because these are challenges that we need to address and stories we need to tell about our environment. But sadly, we've come to the end of the program, TV360 Special. Many thanks for speaking to us, Kehinde, and thank you too for joining us. Bye for now.